If you're considering Morningstar Investor, you need to watch this review first. On the surface, it looks like the ultimate research platform to make smarter investment decisions and to become much more profitable. But after months of thoroughly testing it myself, I discovered a few powerful tools that can seriously boost your confidence and a couple of surprising shortcomings that you have to know about before you commit. But before we get into the details, let's be clear about one thing right now. Who is Morningstar actually for? The truth is, Morningstar Investor isn't for the day trader looking for fast moving charts. This platform has one target user in mind: the long term, fundamentals driven investor. It's for the investor who needs more than just a stock price and a headline. Think about the person building a retirement portfolio, the dividend investor looking for stable companies, or the value investor who wants to know the true worth of a business before buying. They've built their entire service around providing independent, in depth analysis. They give you detailed fair value estimates, analyst reports, and portfolio tools that show you your real risk and sector exposure. So, this is designed for the investor who really wants to make some rational decisions based on the actual data, not on the market noise and on what other people are saying. They provide tools like the Portfolio X-ray, which lets you see the inner workings of your holdings, which is a really sophisticated tool for the serious investor who wants to manage risk properly. Always an important part of managing your portfolio is managing the risk. And most tellingly, they offer their own analyst ratings and research, which is exclusively for the Morningstar smart investor who trusts a disciplined, research-first approach to the markets. But don't take my word for it. When you look at user feedback, the story becomes clearer. Take this one investor, for example. He said that after a free trial, he was happy to pay the high price for premium. He called the service amazing for a value focused investor like himself. He said the detailed analysis saves him a ton of time and energy. He was also very honest. He said he sometimes disagrees significantly with their valuations, noting that they often focus more on growth than just historical performance. But he then went on to highlight that having a differing opinion actually provided a valuable safety check that prevented him from making a few bad investment choices. I also came across a revealing discussion on Reddit that perfectly highlights who this is for. A user was asking for opinions on Morningstar Premium, specifically about their portfolio tracking and the robustness of their data. So, one experienced Morningstar Dividend investor replied, saying that he likes Morningstar's full reports and generally reads the entire thing before buying any stock. That's a lot of reading. He highlighted the fair value and profit drivers section as being especially good. So, yeah, if you like reading, have fun. When another user asked him if he found the Morningstar valuations useful, he said the basic fair value calculation gives him a great starting point. He even gave a specific example, saying he was likely to sell a put option on PayPal as it was nearing Morningstar's fair value estimate. So he takes it into account, but he doesn't always listen to what they say, but it's useful to have. Then there's this Morningstar investor who chimed in, praising their tools for looking at the technical data of stocks and funds, calling them excellent. He said that while they aggregate data from providers like FactSet, the presentation and user interface themselves are better than competitors like ETF.com. So yeah, that tells you everything. Like if you're an investor who values deep fundamental research, clear valuation metrics, and a disciplined approach to building wealth over time, Morningstar Investor is in a league of its own. It's built for the investor who sees their research platform not just as a news source, but as a full on partner in making sound investment decisions. All right, so now that you know who Morningstar Investor is for, let's get into the specific Morningstar investing features and tools that make it so powerful for the right person. The first thing that stood out to me was their market overview. So, the markets page is designed to let you monitor everything at this macro level, and then you can dig deeper to understand why the markets are moving the way they are. I used this to quickly get a sense of the overall market mood and valuation before diving into specific stocks. It gives you that upper level context you need to make a smarter investment decision. But data is also useless if you can't interpret it. And that's where the Morningstar rating for stocks comes in. This was a game changer for my process. So the rating helps you find stocks that might actually be undervalued by cutting through the daily noise and actually showing you what matters. It's based on three different factors: the current price, Morningstar's own estimate of the stock's fair value, and how certain they are about that estimate. It's a fantastic starting point for your own research. It just gives you a few to look at because they do their own research first, and then you can go from there and curate even further. And when you want to go beyond that rating, you dive into the company reports. This is where the premium subscription really pays off. Access to the full, unabridged analyst reports is exclusive to Morningstar Investor subscribers, and it's a really useful tool. These aren't just summaries, they are deep dives where their analysts assess a company fairly and accurately from their investor point of view, and you, as an individual investor, gets to see what that analysis is and understand why they thought the way they did and what they wrote down and how they ended up where they did. So I found myself really spending most of my time here reading the full reports to understand the bull and bear cases for every stock I was considering, because there's a lot of thought that goes into this and a lot of detail and a lot of research. It's not just about stocks, though. The Morningstar rating for funds is also legendary. You've probably heard of the star rating for mutual funds and ETFs. This is a purely data-driven look at how well a fund has performed compared to its peers. It's like, 5-star, 4-star, whatever. It's a backward-looking measure, but it's an industry standard for a reason. It gives you a quick, reliable snapshot of historical performance and gives you a rating for it. Now, if you like having a curated list of potential investments, and yeah, let's be honest, every serious investor does, the watch list feature is really straightforward, but also very powerful. It's a simple way to keep an eye on securities that you don't own yet, but you can track them based on the data points that you care about most, making it really easy to compare them side by side and keep an eye on them. But one of the biggest reasons that savvy investors choose Morningstar is the screener tool. This screener is a beast. It lets you filter through thousands of stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, and much more by hundreds of different data points. So you can build your own custom screens from scratch, or you can use their predefined ones to quickly find ideas that fit your specific strategy, whether you're looking for high dividend stocks or low cost index funds, or any minutely detailed piece of information you're looking for, you can screen for it. And let's not forget the learning resources as well. They offer live Morningstar Investor webinars, which are live tours and Q&A sessions to help you get the most out of your subscription. You can spend all day every day on this platform learning if you wanted to. So I found this incredibly useful for discovering some features that I might have otherwise missed, and I learned more about the platform. But of course, no platform is going to be perfect. There's always a few things that you have to be aware of as an investor, as someone looking to get their money's worth, particularly in Morningstar. So, in my deep dive of user reviews, I came across this Morningstar investor review from an investor who overall said that he liked the site, but that he had a couple of gripes. He mentioned that a feedback link wasn't working, which is a minor tech bug, and his bigger complaint was about the watch list and portfolio features. He said that every time he changed or sorted something, the platform would ask him if he wanted to save it. So he found this really annoying and wanted more control over when to save. So yeah, I experienced this too. It's a little bit noticeable, not too bad for me, but it is a little bit repetitive. But I do see why they do it. They want to make sure that you don't accidentally lose any changes, and they're just asking you if you want to keep track of what you're doing and save every once in a while. So, like, for me, it became just a minor habit instead of a major issue, but you can't change it, and it can get annoying. So, yeah. A small trade off for having your data automatically and securely saved as you work and making sure that you keep your work up to date. But there's also a couple other gripes I saw here and there. Nothing huge, and finally, the part you're all waiting for. When it comes to costs, Morningstar Investor is positioned as a premium research tool. However, they offer a free trial that lets you get a real feel for the platform and its powerful features. For a serious investor making significant decisions, the depth of research can easily justify the price. But for a very casual investor who only checks their portfolio once a month, it might be more than they need. But check the link in the description of this Morningstar Investor review video for the most current Morningstar Investor pricing plan and any active promotion deal. We try to keep it updated so that you can get the best possible deal, and you might be able to save some money. So, what is my final verdict in this Morningstar Investor review? Well, it's simple. If you're a serious long-term investor who relies on fundamental analysis and you're tired of sifting through conflicting surface-level information and you want more to look into and you want webinars and you want all the other tools, I think Morningstar Investor is absolutely worth a close look. Check the link in the description of this video to get started with your trial.